G'day everyone. This is all a little bit dodgy. Well, it's not dodgy, it's just a bit different than usual. Usually I'm either in my shed or out in the field and I put a bit of B-roll or a few fillers in between the scenes and whatnot. But this is different. Today I am out and about. I haven't actually had time this week to film my Robbiefishing Q A for tonight. So I'm filming it on my phone in one take. No B-roll, no fillers, no introductions, no endings, just plain Jane. I do apologise for that, but I have been flat out and I'm filming on the phone that's got the screenshots on it. So I'm only going to be answering 2 questions tonight, because if I try and remember any more than 2 in my head, I will most likely forget. So I've remembered the 2 that I think were the best 2 that I was asked this week, and I'm going to answer them right now. You can probably see my camera down here in the bottom corner of the screen. I'm doing a time lapse. I've got 2 cameras set up in the background. This is Urannah Lake. I'm in Urannah. Urannah is in the Riverina area of New South Wales, and it's one of my favourite parts of the world. Absolutely love it up here. I've been up here with my wife doing some landscape photography, some wildlife photography, and we've just had a fantastic day. But it's 4:30 now, sorry, 4:30 now, and I've got to get back to Wanga and have this video up by 7. So I am actually hands-on in the field as I film. Rightio. The White Life. He follows me and he's from America and is a really nice guy, and he's got the cutest little boy named Ryder, and I just love following their fishing adventures. But the White Life on YouTube, he has asked me, or told me, that where he fishes over in the States, he has a problem. He's finding that he's catching a lot more fish with bait, and yet it seems to be frowned upon by some people. Mate, that is a problem here in Australia as well. It's not a problem as such. It's just something that happens. It's never a problem. People fish for different reasons. Some people, like myself, love bait fishing. Some people also, like myself, love lure fishing. And some people, like myself, just love fishing, whether it's bait, fly, lure, or whatever you're doing. It's just all fishing and it's all fun. Sometimes, I'm not saying this is the case with everybody, some people love lure fishing but not bait fishing, and that is fine. Some people are the other way. They love bait fishing and not lure fishing, and that is fine. But you get that element of people that think it's good to look down their noses at bait fishermen because they think that they are something special because they can catch their fish on a lure. They see it as being more of a sport, a more sporting aspect to fishing than just catching them on bait. Now, that's where it does become a problem. That's when ego kicks in. When somebody's ego kicks in, they become a bit egotistical. They think they're a bit better than just boring bait fishermen because they can catch their fish on a lure. That's what happens, and unfortunately, we can't control that. But it does happen over here as well. It's not just in your neck of the world, buddy. But just remember, most people aren't like that. Even a lot of fishermen that I know that pretty much fish exclusively with lures, they still are happy to see people catch fish with bait. And as for catching more fish with bait, I actually believe that bait is the best way to catch fish. It all depends. With Murray cod, I tend to catch more fish on lures, but with trout, in the summer when the water's low and clear, lures work better. When the water's high and dirty, bait works better. A bunch of worms after some rain, you just can't go wrong. A live cricket in season or a grasshopper will outperform any lure. Basically with fishing, as long as it's legal, whatever floats your boat, White Life, because if you're not smiling, if you're fishing for the sole purpose of looking down on bait fishermen or looking down on others, then you're fishing for the wrong reasons. And you know the reason that I go fishing? I go fishing because I love fishing. I go fishing to escape, I go fishing to get outdoors, I go fishing for exercise, and I go fishing because it puts this. These teeth are crooked, aren't they? I've got shocking teeth, but it puts this on. It puts a big smile on my face. It makes me happy, and that's why I do it, and I don't care how I do it. And you know what? If egotistical lure casters that catch monster fish want to look down on me for drifting worms in a trout stream or for catching carp on a bit of corn or something, then let them be. I don't really want those sort of people in my life anyway. I choose my friends very wisely and I don't choose judgmental friends. Thank you very much for the question, White Life, and I'm sorry I missed this one a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I get a lot of messages and comments and stuff, and quite a few do slip through the net as my channel goes bigger, which is great, and I thank you all for that. It's becoming more and more commonplace for me to miss a few messages or a few comments. So thank you very much for that, White Life. Take care, and say good day to Ryder for me, because Ryder, if you are watching, mate, you are a legend. Okay, now the other question that I'm going to ask, this come from the Mountain Bike channel on YouTube, and it's a question that I really like. And that was, the Mountain Bike Life has asked me, the Mountain Bike channel, sorry, White Life Mountain Bike channel. This is why I'm only answering 2 questions, because I can't remember them, let alone a third one. The Mountain Bike channel has asked me what has got me into YouTube and what has gotten me into fishing. Mate, I was born with a fishing rod in my hand. Don't take that seriously. I really wasn't, because that would have hurt my mother immensely. But I was born to fish. My father fished, my mother fished, my grandparents fished, my great uncles all fished, my uncles fished. I come from two fishing families. Fishing brought my mum and dad together. I come from two fishing families, and I was fishing from the time I could walk, essentially. I was brought into it. My parents used to take me out fishing every weekend. My mum and dad would take me up chasing trout on weekends. We'd have a wood fire going in the winter before there was a closed season. I was out with my boat camping, fishing, duck shooting up here at Urana, out at Lake Urana, which is just out the road, a real big lake. I was born and raised in the outdoors, fishing, hunting, bushwalking, and that's what got me into that, and it's a passion that I have just maintained all of my life. As for YouTube, I always, as a kid, I always wanted to do a bit more photography. I wanted good cameras, and I wanted to do a lot more photography. Once I got to year 10, and I got some elective subjects at school, I elected photography. I chose photography as a year 10 elective. Now, from there, I studied, this is back in the early 1990s, with the old Pentax MG and Pentax ME wind-on cameras with manual focus, all black and white. We had dark rooms, and we used to develop our own photos and our own negatives. We had the old-fashioned enlargers. We didn't have the zoom tool back then. Our zoom tool was an enlarger, half the size of this table that I'm sitting on, that used to just lift the negative up so that it would beam out bigger on the photo paper underneath. I loved photography. That was a year 10 elective. I elected photography in year 10 and 11, and it's a passion that I've had ever since. And that was around about the 1990s. So I've always loved photography. I had a lot of film SLRs, almost exclusively all Canon, right through the 90s. I bought my first digital SLR in 2003. It was a Canon EOS 300D, state-of-the-art 6.3 megapixel, $2,500 model. It was a real game changer because it was the first digital SLR that we could all afford at $2,500 15 years ago. Now, as time's gone on, I've bought different cameras. I've gone up and up and up and up, and I've gone across and up and down. I've just tried different models. Now I've just got heaps of cameras because I love photography. But then they incorporated video mode. First there was silent video with a maximum of 30 seconds. Then there was audio with our video. And now we're up to 4K 60 frames a second. This camera you can see in the background here, that takes 180 frames a second at full HD, and it takes 4K video at 60 frames a second. That's 4K at slow motion speed. I love video. So naturally, having a love of photography meant that I was gravitated towards Facebook and then Instagram, and having a love of video means I'm going to gravitate naturally towards YouTube, because that's the best platform on the planet to share my video creativity or my video content. So mate, fishing and filming and photography are my passions, and that is, I was born to fish. I was brought up in a fishing family, and I just took on a passion for photography, which one of my grandmothers had. I inherited that around about year 10 age, and I've ran with it ever since. Thank you very much, Mountain Bike Channel, for the great question. Thank you very much, White Life, for the great question. I'm sorry if this video hasn't got fancy fillers, time lapses, sky lapses, background music, introductions, B-roll, you name it. This is a bit of a plain Jane, but I've done my best to upload it by 7 o'clock Wednesday, because I always try to do my best. Now this behind me is Urana Lake. If you ever come to Urana, which is about 3/4 of an hour north of Corowa in the New South Wales Riverina, there's two lakes. Well, there's three lakes. There's Urana Gong out that way, Lake Urana up that way, and Urana Lake. Don't confuse Urana Lake with Lake Urana. Lake Urana is enormous. I've just been out there on some private property. It's one of my favourite places. It's teeming with bird life. It's all on private property. And this little weeny lake in town here, which is an artificial lake, Urana Lake, is way, way, way deeper than Lake Urana. This is Urana Creek, and it's been dammed up to form this lake, which gets stocked with fish, and people can come here and go fishing. And there's a caravan park with toilet facilities and public amenities just over there. Lake Urana's got nothing. It is just a massive, great big glorified puddle. It filled up 7 or 8 years ago, and it hasn't quite dried out yet. Sometimes it'll dry for 20 or 30 years, and then it'll hold water for 20 or 30 years. If you've never been to Urana, come up here, because it's one of my favourite places in the whole wide world. Rightio folks, I'm going to get going. I apologise if there's a bit of background noise, but there's quite a lot of traffic going past. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned. I will be back with a normal Q&A next Wednesday, unless I'm out on a photography road trip.